Chapter 33 The Awaited Meeting. A full day has passed. After the fight between Rimiru and Rimiru, it was now time for the meeting between Rimiru and subordinates and guests. The meeting was being held in the meeting room inside Rimiru's castle. The meeting began at 12 p.m. the following day with everyone present. Rimiru, as the head, was sitting in his chair in the meeting room. Milim, being the future Queen of Tempest, was sitting by his left side in the meeting room. Veldor, as the Guardian of Tempest, was seated next to Rimiru by his right. The members participating in the meeting were as follows. From Tempest, we have Bimaru, Higakuro, Kurebe, Kaijin, Rigurd, Gobta, Geld, Gabiru, Vesta, Shinon, Shuna, Ranga, Diablo, who returned that very morning, saying that he completed his test, Caria, and Ultima. The members of Tempest were seated at the right side of the meeting table, with Shinon, Shuna, and Diablo standing at Rimiru's back. From Milim's country of the Forgotten Dragon, we have Caria and Frey, who rushed to Tempest after sensing the huge power that surpassed that of Milim. They rushed here, fearing the worst of their master, but stopped after confirming that Milim was all right and safe. Those two were sitting at the left side of the meeting table, closest to Milim. From the holy city of Lubilis, we have Luminous as the head. Louise, Hinata, Sarah, Renard, Arnaud, Bacchus, Litus, Fritz, and the other 100 holy knights who were standing by inside the meeting room. Luminous was sitting at the head of the table opposite of Rimiru's seat, with Hinata and Louise standing at her back as guards. The other 6 paladins were seated at the left side of the meeting table. Diablo looked very exhausted during the meeting. The reason is because ever since he returned back to Tempest and met Caria and Ultima, both of them have been begging him to agree to fight them and confirm who was stronger between all 3 of them. He was surprised to see them in Tempest with a physical body, but when he learned that it was the real Rimiru, he let it go. Those two had always been disturbing him non-stop to fight them, and it was getting very tiresome for him, which is why he was exhausted. Back to the meeting. Rimiru just finished summarizing the event that occurred the other day. He explained that what went down between Rimiru and himself to those who were present in the meeting. For those who didn't know Rimiru's identity, he explained that she was a female version of himself from another dimension. And that's why we both decided to postpone our fight to a later date, Rimiru explained. Everyone was speechless after hearing the details of the fight. The level of fight that was described to them could be seen as a fight between 2 very powerful, angry gods. I'm glad that you were able to withstand her onslaught, Lord Rimiru, Rigurd said with a genuine relief. Rimiru smiled from seeing the relief on all of his subordinates' face. Don't worry, guys, her powers may be out of this world, literally, but I'm not exactly weak, you know. Not that we ever doubted you, my lord, but when your opponent is you from another dimension, Bimaru tried to explain. What my brother was trying to say is that we will be left with no choice but to worry in this situation because your opponent is literally yourself, Shuna said. All of Rimiru's subordinates nodded their heads at this. Frey spoke up. Excuse me, Lord Rimiru. Rimiru turned to her. Please, no need for the Lord. Rimiru is fine. I cannot call someone self your rank and power so casually, but if you insist, I will try, Frey said to him. I insist, please. So, what do you want to ask? Rimiru asked. Having this beautiful babe call me like Frey, call me Lord, is a huge turn on for me, which is very bad. If Milim finds out about this, who knows what she will do to me, Rimiru thought to himself in fear. Milim turned and saw Rimiru sweating by her side. She smiled and took a sip of her tea. My poor darling has no idea, does he? He doesn't even realize that our minds are still linked and I can hear pretty much all of his thoughts. I should punish him for this, but boys will be boys after all. Now I know other things that turns him on. Besides seeing me in my birthday suit, I should think of a way to help him relieve his pent-up urges. Rimiru turned to Milim and saw her drinking tea with a calm face. He felt light shivers run down his body as his sweat intensified. Frey looked slightly between Rimuru and the calm Milim, who was drinking her tea in confusion. She shook her head after she remembered what she wanted to ask Rimuru. Frey began to speak. Again, the other version of yourself is indeed powerful, but I am more interested in knowing who that other Milim is. I would like to know as well, if you don't mind, Luminous Ass said. After testing Milim's powers firsthand, I'm curious to know if this other Milim is as strong or stronger than her. Rimuru scratched his head. I can't really give you a correct estimate. I think Milim will better explain it about her than I could. Milim sighed and looked at him. You all know what Rimiru is, right? Yes, is after, right? Yes, we do. She wants to fuse her Milim's core with a strong vessel that can handle the power, and you are the one she chose to do it with. Lumina said, That is correct. She has tried it on several people already, but all has already died, except for one, which is the Milim you all are asking about. She is not like me and has nothing in common with me anymore. She's nothing but a mindless entity that lives only to fulfill her beloved master's wish. In terms of strength, I do not know how powerful she is, but she was able to repel me quite easily when I'm using half my full powers, Milim explained to them. Everyone in the room knew how powerful Milim was, which made digesting the information they were told hard for them. Imagine being told that not one but two catastrophic beings who seek nothing but destruction were on the loose. It was a tough pill to swallow, but they had to accept the reality. As it is to believe, as hard as it is to believe, we have no choice but to accept this as fact. What do we do if she attacks our nation? Hinata asked. Rimiru saw the gloomy atmosphere around the guests in the meeting room, which confused him. He had to ask, I understand how dangerous Milim is, but I understand how dangerous this Milim is. Why are all you treating her like the last boss when it was explained that she literally serves a female version of myself? The paladins became flustered, and Frey and Carrier turned their attention elsewhere. Finally, Luminous answered, It is not that we don't know how strong Rimiru is, which basically is as strong as you. It's just that we know what level of destruction Milim could unleash if she goes all out without control, Illumina said. That's right. Milim called the Destroyer. Milim is called the Destroyer for a reason. Just knowing that an evil version of herself is out there, so it makes me shudder. Carrier said, That's right. Rimiru, Milim is called the Destroyer for a reason. Sorry. All I know is that I will be my Milim's side when she needs me, Frey said while placing her hand on the table. Rimiru sighed, but he felt someone pat his back. He looked and saw Milim patting his back. Don't sweat the small stuff, darling. If she comes, I or Valdor will stop her. Valdor picked up from hearing his name. Exactly, Rimiru. Milim may be strong, but with my training in sacred arts, I'm confident that I can beat her. Is that what you want to think, Vadora? Just, just so you know, I haven't been playing around myself. I can beat you with no problem, Milim told him. Oh yeah, we can sell this right now if you want to, Vadora challenged. Bring it on. This will be our 201st duel with 101 wins for me, Milim said to him. You cheated on the last fight and you know it. Fine, I will make this new victory of mine against you one of my greatest victories ever, Vadora said with a prideful voice. Before either of them could carry out their plans, Rimuru hit both of them in the head. Both Valdora and Milim looked at Rimuru with a pout after being hit by him. Why'd you hit me? Why'd you hit us, Rimuru? That was so mean of you, Valdora whined. Yeah, darling, that hurt, you know, Milim said while rubbing her head. Rimiru sighed. I can never leave you two alone for a second. Heaven knows what you will destroy if I take my eyes off you too. Come on, darling, we both know that Valdora is more horrible than I am, Milim said. Nani? Valdora shouted. Enough, you two. We are still in a meeting, you know, Rimuru shouted. Everyone in the meeting room sighed in relief. None of them had the willpower or power to stop those two if they were to actually start a fight. Regardless of things, it is safe to say that if the other Milim shows up, we should leave her to either Lord Rimuru, Lady Milim, or Lord Valdora, Vesta said. No, Milim shouted. Everyone again was taken aback by Milim shouting. What do you mean by no, Lady Milim? Frey asked. I mean that only I or Valdora will face the other me if she shows up, Milim said. Excuse me, Lady Milim. What about Demon Lord Rimiru? Hinata asked. Rimiru will not and should never face the other me for any reason whatsoever, Milim said to them. But why is that? With his strength, he should be our greatest ally when battling. Louise tried to say, but was stopped by Luminous. Louise, keep quiet. Lady Milim has spoken, and you should do well to keep your mouth shut and follow her instructions, Luminous said to her. The whole paladins who wanted to speak widely kept quiet after hearing the tone of voice of Luminous. The others were surprised by the tone of Luminous, but when they all turned and saw the faces of both Luminous, Rimuru, Milim, and Valdora, they knew that there was something which only them were able to get. Milim sighed. Thanks for that, Luminous. What I was trying to say that Rimuru will not be fighting that other me when Io Valdora is around. Rimuru turned to Milim, and his love for her grew more than ever. My goodness, how did I ever get so lucky as to have this beautiful woman as my future wife? She knew that I could never bring myself to fight her no matter the reason. Even when our opponent is after my life and that of Milim's, I can't bring myself to hurt another Milim, even if she is evil. That's just how much I am in love with her. That's just how much I love her. That's right. Rimuru wouldn't be able to fight the other Milim because he couldn't bring himself to even fight Milim, even if she's an evil version of her from another dimension. It seems that only Valdora, Milim, and Luminous were aware of this, hence why they are against Rimuru ever fighting that other Milim. With that, the meme progressed quite smoothly. It was concluded after all of their nations would increase its defenses and be on the lookout for Rimuru or the other Milim. The meeting was concluded by evening time. After the meeting, Luminous and the Paladins returned to Luminous using Luminous space shift. Carrion returned back to Milim's country of the Forgotten Dragon while Frey decided to stay and assist Milim and Tempest. During the night, Diablo, Carrion, and Ultima approached Rimiru with a request. So you three want to return to the underworld? Rimiru asked him. Yes, my lord, they all three answered. Is there a particular reason for wanting to return? Rimiru asked them. My lord, I have 200 subordinates that I believe will be useful for you during the coming future, Carrie explained. Same my lord, Rimiru, I have 200 subordinates as well, and I want them all to serve you to our best of their abilities, Ultima said. Rimiru nodded at them and turned to Diablo. And what might your reason be? The Diablo nodded. Well, sir, I have watched the situation in our country, and I want to say that the level of work is too much with us having fewer citizens. So I want to go to the underground, recruit someone who will help take my chores, work from my hands, he said with a proud smile. However, way you look at it, he just wants to pass his work off to someone else and slack off. Well, if he can bring in more helpers for Tempest, then all the better, Rimiru thought to himself. In the end, Rimiru permitted them all to go, and they left at once. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe today to become one of my domestic listeners. Goodbye, and peace out, everyone.